Welcome to Acquiring and Managing Skill Traffic. I'm Greg Bulmash, a technical evangelist with the Alexa Developer Education Team. I host the Alexa Game Chat Monday afternoons on the Amazon Alexa channel on Twitch. Now, I've been building Alexa skills on and off since 2016, and as I'm building them and trying to get people to use them, I'm sure I have the same questions as many of you. How do I get new customers, and how do I keep them engaged? I think about this often. As skill creators, we want to make it easy for our customers to discover our skills, easier to share our skills through other channels like social media, and to understand how customers are interacting with our skills so we can identify ways to improve experience and engagement. So I'm really excited to present this session today because that's what we're talking about. Skill discovery, driving skill traffic, and using analytics to manage your traffic and improve customer experience. In our first segment, Alexa Champion Nick Schwab, founder of Invoked Apps, will be talking about our new name-free invocation tools, which make it easier for customers to invoke your skill without having to know its name. After Nick, I'll be talking about quick links for Alexa. I'm really excited about this one, not just because I'm the one who gets to share it with you, but with quick links for Alexa, customers can launch your skills or even specific features in your skills with links you can share anywhere on the web. Then, after we've talked about how to get customers to your skills, we'll have Alexa Senior Technical Program Manager, Quinn Cochran, show off some great new analytics features that will help you get deeper insight into how customers are interacting with your skills and how you can use those insights to improve those interactions, build more engagement, and better manage your traffic. Now, let me introduce you to Nick Schwab. Nick is an Alexa champion and a prominent skill developer. He worked with our product teams as a beta tester on some exciting new ways to improve name-free interactions and better help Alexa know when to consider your skill for customer requests. Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Greg. Let's talk about one of the greatest challenges Alexa skill developers have today. And that is, what happens if a customer forgets your skill's invocation name? Or what happens if they use the wrong invocation name altogether? This has been a challenge that developers have been trying to solve by giving their skills generic invocation names for a while. I've done this myself with skills like rain sounds, ocean sounds, sleep sounds, you get the idea. But with the Name-Free Interactions Toolkit, developers can now surface which intents and alternative launch phrases customers might say at a top level outside of the session context of their skill that they want to have routed to their skill. Let's take a look at how that looks from a customer's perspective. In a named scenario, a customer might say something like, "Alexa, ask ambient noise to play rain sounds." Or they might say, "Alexa, ask sleep sounds to play wind chimes." In both of these scenarios, the customer is very clear about which skill they're wanting because they're using the invocation name. But customers don't always talk that way. They might say something in a name-free way, like, "Alexa, play rain sounds," or "Alexa, I want to hear some wind chimes." Even though the customer is not using your invocation name, your skill still might be a great candidate to fulfill these requests. Let's take a look at how a developer would implement name-free interactions into their skill. In this example, I've added two different ingress points for name-free interactions. One type is a launch type. Launch ingress points can be considered as alternate launch phrases that a customer might say to reach the launch request part of your skill. In this example for my ambient noise skill, I added a sample utterance for the launch called "Help Me Relax." That way when a customer says, "Alexa, help me relax," I'm teaching Alexa that my skill could be a good candidate to fulfill that request. Another type is an intent. These intents are the same intents that you have throughout your skill. So here, I've added one of my intents, sound intent, that has a sample utterance. Play some sound slot sounds. Sound slot could be anything like rain, ocean waves, thunderstorms, etc. So when a customer says, "Alexa, play some thunder sounds," I'm telling Alexa that my skill could be a candidate to fulfill that request. Now, once you've added name-free interactions into your interaction model, you'll want to verify your integration. and you can do that through the Ask CLI's dialog command. Here, I've initiated a dialog command using the Ask CLI and my ambient noise skill ID. Once the command is initialized, I type "help me relax," my alternate launch phrase that I specified in my interaction model. And you can see, right in line here, that Alexa decided to route that request to my skill. Now, testing your integration through the Ask CLI is a quick, easy way for verification. But to truly understand the power of name-free interactions, let's take a look at it working on an actual device. Alexa, play some thunder noises.
Okay, here's ambient noise.
Alexa, stop. Here you can see that I set a command that didn't have my invocation name, play some thunder noises, but Alexa decided to route that request to my skill because it was part of one of the intents that I assigned as a name-free interaction in my interaction model. Now, adding name-free interactions isn't guaranteed to route to your skill, but it helps Alexa learn which skills are capable of handling which requests to give you a better chance of having that customer's request be routed to your skill. Now, you might be wondering, how does name-free interactions work with can-fulfill intent requests? Aren't they basically the same thing? And while they're closely related, they're actually highly complementary to each other. By implementing both name-free interactions as well as can-fulfill intent requests, it creates an ideal environment for skills that need to make just-in-time decisions, such as booking a reservation at a restaurant, seeing room availability at a hotel, or maybe tickets for your favorite sporting event. You can also get a better idea when you implement both of which customers are arriving to your skill through a name-free interaction or those who are arriving to your skill in a named interaction. So, with name-free interactions, you can give Alexa new signals for which utterances at a top level outside of the session context of your skill is capable of handling. You can also potentially strengthen customer retention by allowing customers to get back to your skill even if they've forgotten your invocation name or used the wrong invocation name. And finally, name-free interactions also helps us create more branded experiences. No longer do developers have to fear losing out on generic utterances from customers because they named their skill with a branded name. Name-free interactions isn't a one-to-one match, and it's possible for other skills to be competing for the same phrases that you've added to your skill. However, by adding these signals to Alexa by integrating name-free interactions, it's a great first step into achieving a true name-free future. If you're interested in learning more about name-free interactions, or NFI, and applying for the private beta, head over to the Alexa Skills documentation. I'm Nick Schwab. It's been a pleasure to be here today. You can find me on Twitter @Nick Schwab, or find more about my company at invokedapps.com. I hope you're enjoying Alexa Live. Back to you, Greg.
Thanks, Nick. I like this feature because it makes it feel even easier and more natural for customers to discover and engage with new skills. And now we'll talk about another new way to help customers find your skills without them having to remember or even say an invocation phrase. This is called Quick Links for Alexa. Imagine you're advertising your skill, but instead of asking customers to say, "Alexa, open example.com skill," they can click the ad, get asked which of their Alexa-enabled devices should launch it, and have it launch. Or set a quick Alexa reminder to try it later. And this doesn't have to be a banner ad. It could be a link in a blog post, a tweet, in the description for a video of people interacting with your skill. How many opportunities would you have every day to make it click easy for your customers to launch your skill and start interacting with it? Volley makes a lot of games, and as host of Alexa Game Chat, I've played a few. But I encountered my first Volley game well before I joined the Alexa team. Song Quiz lets you compete against people in the room or even in another state in a game of naming songs and the artists who recorded them. This was the first killer skill in our house. My youngest fell in love with it. He didn't even know most of the songs, so he'd not only enlist us to play with him, but to help him play against us. Jess Thornhill from Volley shares some thoughts on quick links for Alexa with us. Using the phrase game changer probably wouldn't be right here, because quick links for Alexa won't change their wonderful and engaging game. It will, however, change how they market it. Hey, is it getting crowded in here? These are just some of the top skill makers we've worked with in developing these features, and the feedback has been incredibly positive. And while I wouldn't use the phrase game changer just a moment ago, Jeff Bolton of Voice Apps did. So how do you create this magic? How do you make a link that gets your skill launched on a customer's device? Just get your skill ID from your developer console or from the CLI, replace the skill ID in angle brackets, and you've got an Alexa link, sending customers to your launch intent. It's so easy, it's almost boring. Almost. If you've got a restaurant with an Alexa skill, you can put an Order with Alexa button on your website, or alias example.com/Alexa to your skill. That can be a powerful traffic driver, making invocation click, click easy. But why should you take my word for it? Let me show you one in action in a segment I call Quick Links for Alexa Theater. Oh my! I am so physically tired, but my mind is racing. How can I settle my thoughts with gentle sounds? I know, to the internet.
Wow, here I am at the internet. My goodness, here's something called Sleep Sounds on Alexa, and all I have to do is click this link to start it on my Echo device? Let's give it a try. Why, yes, I'd like it to play on my device, right now.
Here is the skill Sleep Sounds by Sleep Jar, launched from the web or a mobile device. Welcome to Sleep Sounds. I can play many relaxing sound loops, like thunderstorms or rain, or you can ask me for a list. You can also tell me 2 sounds to play at the same time. Which sound would you like?
Thunderstorms. Echo stop. And scene.
Quick Links for Alexa is now available in public beta. Check out the documentation for the rules and regulations, then get started creating links to your skills. Let me do my best Billy Mays here. But wait, folks, there's more! Available in beta, custom task links take Quick Links for Alexa to the next level. Not only can you link to your skill, but you can link to a custom task inside it and pass in parameters. What? Perhaps you've heard of tasks and connections. In the first generation of that, we had a few specific tasks from selected providers that you could request, like web printing or ride hailing. The customer would be connected to the task provider, which was selected by Alexa to accomplish the task. Then they'd be returned to your skill when it was completed. We expanded it in a preview to enable skill creators to create their own custom tasks, specify a task provider, and to share tasks among their skills or even open them up to other skill creators. Connecting custom tasks between skills is called direct connections, and that feature is still in preview, but the ability to create custom tasks and to link to your tasks using Quick Links for Alexa is now in beta. Just like you can send a customer directly to a skill with an Alexa link, you can send them to a specific intent or procedure in your skill by deep linking to a custom task. And custom task links can have a query string at the end, allowing you to pass values to the custom task, like a song to play or a campaign ID you want to track. Comedy Central, as an early partner, has used this to great effect. But why don't I let VP of Voice Assistant Products for Viacom CBS, Mark Mesrich, tell you?
Hi, I'm Mark Mesrich, Vice President, Voice Assistant Products for Viacom CBS. At Viacom CBS, we're really proud of all the skills we made for Alexa. And we rely on our well-targeted and well-followed social platforms to get the word out about them. Being able to open a skill straight from a link is a huge leap forward in our ability to market these skills. Instead of relying on our audience to just remember what they see from us on Twitter or Instagram and later go over to their Alexa-enabled device to invoke our skills, we can help them open these skills right up from the post. Our first integration is with the excellent Comedy Central stand-up skill, where we've integrated custom task links so we can share specific comedians from our skill with our audience and have them dive right in. So we can't wait to form a tighter connection between our social audience and our Alexa audience.
And Comedy Central isn't the only one taking advantage of this. Luminary hosts a deep catalog of great podcasts by a deep field of top talent, and deep linking into that catalog with custom task links is a marketing tool they're appreciating. Launching specific content in your skill generally requires that customers launch your skill and then navigate within your skill to find that specific content. Being able to directly launch the content they want when they want it is huge. Deep linking with custom tasks makes that possible. So, how do you do this? First, you're going to need a custom task. You can refer to the Alexa developer documentation for creating custom tasks for the finer points, but let me take you through some broad strokes. This will take a little work because you'll need to create a definition file for each task and then update your skill to handle the tasks. The two biggest pieces are defining your task and then setting up your incoming task request handler. The directory structure in the slide is a skill package that was downloaded using the Alexa Skills Kit command line interface, or Ask CLI. If the organization of the folders looks a little strange to some of you, it did change with the release of Ask CLI in spring of 2020. If you've used the CLI in the past, but it's been a while, it's a good idea to update it before you get started. Custom tasks are defined in your skill package as JSON files in a task folder within the skill package folder. Note the file names. The pattern is taskname.version.json, and you can have multiple custom tasks in one skill. This is what a task definition file looks like on the inside. You'll define a path such as /playSound, like you're creating an API with your task's name. The request comes in as a post HTTP request, and you'll define the responses associated with a few HTTP response codes like 200 OK. Here's a handler that handles playing a sound as an uttered intent or from an incoming custom task link. I edited out a little sound playing code so it would fit. Well, this isn't the how to play a sound session. Again, broad strokes here, folks. I'm going to try to highlight the elements that make this handler function special. Let's look at the can handle function. In the can handle function, the code here checks for a launch request and a play sound task, or an intent request and a play sound intent. This tells Alexa this handler can handle an uttered intent or a custom task link. In the handle function, we can assign the task object from the request envelope to a variable, and this becomes very interesting a couple of lines down. If that variable has something in it, we check for an input property called sound category. We talked about how Comedy Central and Luminary were able to use custom task links to launch specific pieces of content for customers, specific comedy routines, specific podcasts. So we've got a default sound category. But if one came in with the custom task link, we can use that instead. And we could have more than a sound category coming in. We could have multiple pieces of information. I know, right? You're asking, how do I do that? We'll get to that. I got you. Now, each task requires a properties file for each locale in which it will be available. Normally, the name, description, and other information will come from your skill. But because these tasks can be very specific, the properties for each locale provide task-specific information and make sure your descriptions are localized. Remember how 2 slides ago I told you I'd show you how to set up a sound category? 2 slides ago. I remember that. Good times. Okay, here we go. Once your task is public, the link construction is a little more complex than linking to just launching your skill, but it's still fairly easy. It starts with part 1, our endpoint. Part 2, the skill definition information, the skill ID, the name of your custom task, and the version number of the task. And you'll remember we set that version number in the definition file's name, playsound.1.json, in the tasks folder. And part 3, we have an optional query string to pass the parameters of your choice to the task. Just put them all together and you've got one powerful link. What kinds of custom parameters could you add in the query string? Track ad campaigns, start specific content, pass in a discount code for your holiday sale, even personalize the experience for the customer based on the affiliate who sent them. And you don't have to use these parameters. It's all a URL query string, so your parameters are up to you. So time again for a little live demo from the internet. We'll use the Task Buddy skill, which is also available as a code sample on our Alexa GitHub. I'll click a custom task link here to launch a countdown from 5.
Ready to try the skill Task Buddy?
Yes.
Here is the skill Task Buddy, launched from the web or a mobile device. Initiating countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Countdown complete.
You can link from your app, site, blog, social media, and advertising directly to or into your skill. Customers can opt to launch the skill immediately or set a reminder to launch it later. And with custom task links, you can pass in additional information to help your skill deliver a perfectly tailored experience. Stoke Skills makes a number of popular Alexa skills, including Escape the Room, which we've played on Alexa Game Chat on the Amazon Alexa Twitch channel. Their founder had this to say about quick links for Alexa, particularly appreciating the ability to use custom task links parameters to do much more precise campaign tracking. I'm sure many of you know Domino's, and if you've ordered from them online recently, you've seen how they give you visibility into your pizza's progress from the moment your order is placed until the moment it's delivered. Quick links for Alexa are making it easier for Domino's customers to get those pizza status updates via Alexa. Doppio is a game studio in Portugal, making some amazing games for voice. They've worked with Netflix on the 3% Challenge and are now promoting their game The Vortex. Let's hear from their marketing lead, Carolina Rocha.
Hey, this is Carolina Rocha and I lead marketing at Doppio Games, and we've implemented skill links in our game The Vortex. I feel that skill links is a much needed feature and it's very exciting. The user experience of bringing people back into the game becomes seamless. Previously, when we wanted to draw players from the community into the game and vice versa, we used, so to speak, voice promo codes. However, we could not guarantee that interested players could act straight away when they saw our content. We started using skill links in our game, The Vortex, and it makes the process a lot more intuitive, user-friendly, and reduces friction to a minimum. The space between getting our content and starting the skill disappears.
I hope you're as excited about quick links as I am. This is an exciting and powerful new tool to bring traffic to your skill. From anywhere you can place a link, and with deep linking via custom task links, you'll be able to provide precise, tailored experiences for your customers while gaining better insight into the performance of your promotional campaigns. So get linking and see for yourself how powerful quick links for Alexa can be. Now I'd like to introduce you to Quinn Cochran, Senior Technical Program Manager of Alexa Skills Tech, working mainly on initiatives that increase traffic to 3P skills. He's going to talk to you about ways to use analytics data to understand and manage your skill traffic to increase customer engagement.
All right, hey. So you've been hearing about some of the great new mechanisms that we have to drive more invocations to your skill. But without analytics, it's difficult to know which mechanisms are the most effective. I'll be talking now about some new metrics we are providing to help you understand the behavior patterns that are used by end customers to invoke your skill and to see your trend data. The new invocation analytics provide an overall summary of your total ingress broken out by channels such as direct invocations, one-shots, quick links, skill connections, routines, and name-free invocations. All of this data is available to be viewed from the standpoint of new and returning users. For developers enrolled in the NFI Toolkit preview, you can view frequent utterance data for the name-free invocation channel. Next, I want to talk to you about quality analytics. Because while invocation data indicates the new and returning users that are invoking your skill, the quality analytics help you understand what their experience is like when they've been dropped into your sandbox. This is important because we see that when skills exhibit high quality, they tend to have higher customer reviews and be used more by more users. As a result, the new users are more likely to find those skills through the skill store or through Alexa recommendations or name-free interaction. By reviewing the invocation and quality analytics, developers get to benefit from having feedback loop that informs how to improve quality. Given that developing for voice is still a somewhat new concept, we think about skill quality as a combination of your content and features, how efficiently your skill performs within Alexa to provide a natural conversation flow, and how end customers experience your skill. While we won't tell you what content or features to provide, we can tell you how your skill is performing and indicators of the user experience. Our new skill performance dashboard is live now, and it will provide you with information about your skill's endpoint latency, which is how fast your skill is responding to the user's request, endpoint response, how frequently your skill endpoint fails to respond at all, the intent confidence, which indicates the strength of your interaction model to match user utterances to intents and slots. Customer behavior metrics surface aggregated data for 3 friction signals, including defective terminations, unhandled requests, and barge-ins, which indicate a potentially negative customer experience for end users. Based on historical interactions with your skill, these metrics are calculated using our machine learning and heuristic models, combined with other signals such as speech recognition and natural language understanding that precede delivering a response to the end customer. Our analysis indicates that there is a strong relationship between skill star ratings and these signals. Skills associated with higher star ratings have fewer terminations, barge-ins, or unhandled requests, and vice versa. Hence, these signals will highlight opportunities to drive better engagement. For example, if you are seeing a lot of barge-ins, you can add content to your skill to cover more use cases, or update sample utterances and or catalog slots if the skill already covers those use cases. You can also consider changing the prompt or reduce the prompt length and monitor the impact of these actions by tracking the future barge-in rates. For terminations, you can use interaction path analysis to find where customers are more frequently dropping off. Interview UI and view detailed reports to monitor how improvements you make positively impact actions for new and returning users. Similarly, with unhandled requests, you can use IPA and intent history to explore where NLU confidence is low for utterances and understand frequently failed utterances. And NLU evaluation and utterance profiler to see if utterances are being mapped to the right intents or take advantage of the fallback intent to better route to domain requests. So focusing on improving skill performance and customer behavior metrics can help you drive engagement to your skill by making the interaction feel more natural and error-free and providing an experience that customers enjoy. So here's an example of how someone like Nick might use new analytics to drive invocations. Here, Nick is reviewing his customer behavior dashboard and notices that he has a large number of unhandled requests for his sound intent. Knowing that the unhandled requests result from a situation where the intent confidence is low, he reviews the frequent utterance data found in intent history to find that when the utterance play soothing rain sounds is mapped to a sound intent, it is with medium or low confidence. However, play rain sounds is always resolved with high confidence. Nick knows from reviewing his NFI invocations dashboard that this is a common phrase for invoking his skills via NFI. So the concern is that customers are being dropped into the skill sandbox when customers ask for soothing rain. And his skill is then immediately responding with his handler that indicates that the sound is not yet available. When this happens, the system observes the friction and is less likely to recommend his skill for those utterances in future unless he makes changes. The low confidence and intent history suggests that his sample phrases or slot values is not capturing soothing rain or heavy rain as rain. So Nick then decides to update his catalog of slot values with soothing rain and other similar descriptions of rain. After he deploys the changes, he monitors his analytics and finds that he is seeing less customer friction for his sound intent and increased NFI invocations for utterances like play soothing rain sounds. All right, so now I'm going to hand it back to Greg, and he's going to finish this presentation.
Thanks, Quinn. Wow, understanding how your customers behave when interacting with your skill can help you understand how to give them the best possible experience with their interactions and guide them to the best possible outcomes from those interactions. So let's review what we talked about today. First, Nick told you about how to help Alexa better know when your skill can satisfy customer requests with our new Name-Free Interactions toolkit. Then I talked about how you can send customers to your skill and even to specific functions or content in your skill with quick links for Alexa. And Quinn helped us understand how to read and act on analytics data to make the most of your customer interactions, both for you and the customer. And before we go, I'll leave you with a quote from our friends at Spanish Broadcasting System, a premier broadcaster of Spanish language programming in the United States. We hope you'll come away from this talk with the knowledge and the excitement to go out and use these tools to make it easier and faster for your customers to find your skills and to create more satisfying experiences for them when they do. On behalf of myself, Greg Bulmash, Quinn Cochran, our Senior Technical Program Manager, and Nick Schwab, Alexa Champion and CEO of Invoked Apps, I thank you for choosing to spend your time with us. In the words of the philosopher Bill S. Preston, be excellent to each other. Wow, that was a lot of talking. That made me thirsty. Made me thirsty too. Can I have a drink? All right, Mr. Rex. Here, have a drink. Thanks, Greg. Thank you, Rex, and thank you for joining us.